Hey guys, Anime Gypsy here with Shokugeki no Soma Food Wars Chapter 233 review. Now, without further ado, I'd like to first talk about the bombshell revelation that happened last chapter and was discussed this chapter. So, we find out that Senzaimon Dono handpicked everyone from the Jewel generation, from the 92nd Totsuke generation. Now, this is mind boggling for multiple reasons. The first one is the sheer amount of people in that generation. The second one is how. How and why did he choose some of those people? Why did he choose Shoji and Daiji, the two guys in the Polar Star dorm that are very irrelevant, and we know for a fact, their cooking skills isn't to par with the average student. We know that they're not that good. Um, and it's just a bunch of people that he shouldn't even have known about. How? How did he handpick Akira Hayama? How? June, he was a Indian slum boy. A Indian slum boy that was found by June and was basically admitted from then because June already worked in the Totsuki Academy. How did he? The only way he could have picked Hayama, the only way he could have handpicked Akira Hayama is if he sent June to that part of wherever she was, knowing that Akira was there and he would impress her, and then she would take him back. That is the only way that would work out. Same goes for Rio, the kid that was found by the oh god, it just doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it is such a phenomenal revelation because, and it was somewhat foreshadowed in the Tadakuru Megumi scene because we get to see this kid who astonishes a small village by demonstrating the fact that she could basically cut down a monkfish uh, while it's uh, while it's hanging. And after that, we get to see the little Totsuki paper on the floor, like a recommendation, like a recommendation form, like a scholarship form, basically, from Totsuki. I mean, that is impressive, but the only way this is possible without the existence of magic in the Food Wars universe is if Senzaimon has one of the best intel networks in the world, which, oh, actually, that was somewhat foreshadowed, but because we see with the interns that all the students get and all that jazz with the connections he had all over the world. So, but still, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, I get how he handpicked certain people like Mito and Hojo, individuals that have history since the beginning with the with restaurants, individuals that are born in families in cuisine families, basically. But I mean, I'm glad he has good taste in some ways because he picked people like he picked people like Zenji and the Prince of Smoke, Ibusuki. I can't pronounce his name, goddammit. But you know what I mean. Those two didn't show particular, didn't have a particular background in cuisine. At least we don't know that they do. But at the same time, they were handpicked by Senzaimon. It just, I mean, it's a good thing that they were because they're pretty damn good. But how? I wish we get to know that question. We have to know how before why he did it. Why he did it is also important. Is there like a zodiac thing where the 92nd generation is going to be the best according to yada 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 yada, and someone's gonna be born in blah 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 blah? Is this what's going on in Shokugeki no Soma? Okay, that aside, let's dig into the chapter. I'm sorry for wasting 4 minutes. So the first thing is Kuga and Kinokuni. Kunikuni, Nina. I'm just gonna call her Nina because I can't pronounce her name. So those two have a rough dynamic since the beginning. Since their first introduction, they were at each other's throat, just just yammering at each other and just um, constantly provoking one another. Specifically, Nana provoking Kuga for his height and cooking skills and so on and so forth. That type of dynamic was there, but we get a little more characterization because we get to see that they're all. I mean, they're friendly with one another. They have a friendly dynamic to them, and it's not only the at each other's throat thing. And adding to that revelation that was made last chapter, in this chapter, Nina says something along the lines of, "Are you sure Soma is just a first year?" I mean, this is building up for some sort of mystical background stuff where the 92nd generation is just superior to all the other generations, which I doubt. Well, now that I think of it, overall they must be pretty good because a lot of people in the 92nd generation scored really high. I mean, in the 80s and 90s in the Spring Festival. But uh, it's just hard to explain. Uh, oh yeah, but the thing is with them, they don't have the very distinct, talented kids like the first seat. Keep forgetting his name, Ishi, and you know what I mean. Like those guys, like Ishiki. He's not. He's the seventh seat. The first seat is Ishitsu something. I really can't pronounce his name for the life of me. But those two guys are at a certain level that we don't get to see anyone or any one of the first years even near. We get to see Erna like, mm, but and Akira Hayama is over there, but nobody is at that insane level because I mean in you had people in Jochiro's time like like God, I keep forgetting his damn name. I mean, I it is Ayazami, right? But he goes by another name. Ayazami was the third seat his first year. You had people like that. You don't have people like this and like that in this generation. The best you have is a 10th seat, and the ninth seat is Hayama. But you don't get someone that talented early on, even though you do in other generations. So, I mean, overall, in an average way, they're pretty good because there's so many people that are a certain level that are above their age, but there you don't have the distinct two or three in that particular group that are just above everyone else. That you don't have. Um, okay, so moving on with the scene. You have the reiteration of the Senzaimon as Ayazama scene. That sort of jazz is reiterated in the chapter, and then you get the whole. We get a focus on the fights. We get to see Soma, Aldini, and Megami basically displaying their teamwork, and that they will basically assist each other in each other's dishes, and it shows in terms of character building that they have built a closer dynamic to one another, and that's important for characterization. But at the same time, if they win, that would mean that they will not be as strong as the previous Elite 10 generation because they relied on one another while the Elite 10 generation relied on themselves. So they have collective strength, but they don't have individual strength, which is frustrating because I want to see Soma and uh, and Hayama. Sorry, well, so Hayama isn't fighting right now. I want to see Soma and Aldini at like fifth level seat level by the next few chapters. I want to see that. But if they keep relying on each other so much, that won't happen. It's you have collective strength, not individual strength. And by the way, we get to see a flashback with Aldini in his internship. And in the previous chapter, we got a flashback of the training that Megami went through with Shinoyama. Now, I think they will both fail. Straight up saying. And the reason I'm saying this is because you can't have all three of the can't have all three of the anti-center, the rebel, basically, you can't have all three of the rebels win again, because then the tension won't be as big in the next few chapters. Two people have to lose at the very least. I mean, two people have to lose. That's my perspective, and they're going to be Aldini and Megami, because Soma is the main character, and and basically we're going to see more of him, and that's what I think is going to happen, honestly. Now, moving on, we get to see the fights going on. Saito versus Soma. Now, the main ingredient in this fight is butter, and it's Yukihira Soma is using mochi. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but technically speaking, Yoto Tsukada and Ichiro Oda are co-workers, right? They're both mangaka at Shonen Jump. Now, I'm like a percent sure, actually a little over a percent sure that the the reason the reason Soma is using mochi is because Oda just recently introduced a very cool character whose main ability is the manipulation of mochi. And we see this feeding back in Oda's terms, because in One Piece right now you have Sanji basically just mimicking Akira Hayama, like, yes, this cake has this ingredient, that ingredient, and these secret ingredients. Yeah, I could smell all of that. You have Sanji pulling off an Akira Hayama. I'm just saying, I think there's a little bit of playback between the two right now, especially since One Piece is in the Whole Cake Island arc, and it's very influenced by food. I think it would only make sense that Oda would consult someone like Yuto for help, because it's Yuto, the food master of manga. Just putting it out there. All right. So this is what I think is going on, or at least I have a hint of it going on. Well, not hint, but suspicion of it going on. The next fight is Momo versus Megumi. And the reason this is such a dead giveaway that it's going to fail is because they're not concentrating so much on the fact that, hey, apples are mainly used in desserts. And bakery too. I mean, using apples in bakery is just something well known and well established. It's a very popular ingredient in bakery, and Momo is what, the third seed right now? I don't see Megami beating her. I honestly don't. And as I said, it's also needed for the progression of the story for there to be tension. You know? That is needed. And it'd just be a letdown. I don't want Megami to pull a Soma and beat a Elite 10 member in her own game. I don't want that to happen. I don't want what happened in the last bout to happen in this bout. No. Well, not the last bout, the one before it, but you know what I mean. Then, after that, you have Aizen and Aldini, and Aizen has been the biggest letdown in the kitchen of Shokugeki no Soma. He's an Elite 10 member. And I don't think we have seen him win a legitimate fight yet. Now, granted, that was because he wasn't taking anything seriously. But now I think he's taking everything seriously. And even though I think Aldini has a score to settle with Aizen, I don't think it's going to be settled that way. I don't. Because we haven't seen what he could do. There's so much we haven't seen of him. We have to be reminded that this is an Elite 10 member. He's been pushed around too much to be pushed around anymore, in my perspective. I think Yoto is basically gonna tell us, hey, don't underestimate this guy. He's in this organization for a reason. He is there for a reason. He's a predator. Watch out for him. That is what I think is going to happen with Aizen, even though you have that flashback with Aline. Now, what I think is going to happen after this whole thing is over, even though Momo and Aizen are going to win, I think they're going to be very much so weakened by the fight. The Ishi Rindo effect. Basically, what happened before is going to happen again, and I don't think Soma is going to be that affected by his fight, because we get a little glimpse of Saito saying something along the lines of he hasn't drawn his real blade yet. But I really think this fight really should exhaust him in some sort of way, because he's going up against the fourth seat. This is no slacker. This guy is no slacker. You know, he's able to do stuff. You know, we should. I mean, so I mean that's all I have to say about this chapter. I'm sorry it took too long, but you know what you gonna do. Now, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want more material on Shokugeki no Soma, please subscribe to my channel. I will be doing manga live reactions and reviews from now on. And if you liked my video, leave a like. And if you didn't, just comment down below. And until next time, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out.